Before we get into this video, I wanted to do something kind of fun with this one. This is a shootout between four of these stud finders, and obviously I don't need more than one of these things, and I'm happy to keep any one of them. So I decided I'm going to give these out to you guys, my viewers. So if you want to win one of these, tell me a funny joke below in the comments, and also tell me which one you'd like, and the one to make me laugh the hardest will get the stud finder. I'll get in contact with you somehow and send you it by mail. So enjoy the video.
Hello and good afternoon. I hope you're having a good day. I am in search for a really good stud finder. Now, I have this thing. It's about, I don't know, I want to say this is probably 15 years old. It's like an old Stanley one, and it works well enough, but it's not a modern tool, and I hadn't used it in quite some time. And the other day, I need to install some handrails, and I decided, maybe I should upgrade because I really don't want to take the chance of not hitting a stud on the very first try. And the wall that I'm installing it is a little tricky. So, and excuse my cough, but I decided, hey, let me try and see what's out there. And the more I did research, the more I realized I'm not gonna get to know which one of these is better unless I buy all of them, try it out, and if I don't like them, then I guess I can return them to Amazon. So I ordered the top 4 products I could find. So here we have this Bosch unit that seems like a pretty cool professional tool. It's got this little hole in the center for marking and whatnot, but we'll get into it in detail. This is the GMS 120. And then we've got this Franklin Sensors one. You probably have seen this on other videos. I'll get into this quite a bit, and this is actually the one that I think is going to be. So before actually trying any of them, this is kind of like already the one that I'm kind of picking as a bit of a favorite. And then this is an interesting one. This is the one Amazon kept pushing to the top of the list, the TH250. Once I open it, you'll get to see it, and you'll probably recognize it from the Amazon ads. It comes in this gray box. I wanted to show you the boxes they come in, so that's why I'm starting like this. And here's the Zircon, and this is the one that is kind of it seems to be the crowd favorite, and it literally came like this. There was no other box. It just came in this little bubble wrap container, which I thought was kind of cheesy. It's got a little button right here, but again, we'll get into the individual quirks and features of each one of these things in just a second once I unwrap them and individually walk through them. So stay tuned. All right, before I get started, I just wanted to kind of show you quickly what I've set up here for our test. I have a piece of drywall, and behind it, I've set up 2 wood studs. These are just regular 2x4s you find at the store. And what I did is I fastened one of them in with some drywall screws so that, we give the metal detection in the stud finder a chance. And the other one I did not do that with, so it doesn't have any sort of fastener. And then the other thing that I've got a plastic PVC pipe and a copper pipe. Actually, I'll lift those up a little bit in just a second to be a little closer to the drywall. And then I have just an extension cord with that is plugged in. Okay, so we're gonna give it that chance. It's plugged into my belt sander. It's not drawing any current, but a lot of times your circuits are not going to draw any current. So we'll see if that makes a difference. So that's about what I've got set up right now. And I want to do my test based on just this. Like, do these different stud finders give us good, accurate readings as to where these things are. And if I can get the center of this guy consistent with one of them, that'll probably be my winner because I doubt all of them are going to find the center of it consistently. Now, I do have a control for all of this, I use a pretty high-powered magnet to usually find studs, and that works really well because it finds those drywall screws quite well, and it finds damn near the center of them. And with that, I'm always confident that I've got a stud. But sometimes you're trying to get into a spot where maybe there is not a good drywall screw nearby or whatever, and you still want to be sure. And stud finders are just a great way of doing that, especially if you've got a great one. So with that, I'm going to pause and set up the first test.
My original intent with this portion of the video was to run through each one of the devices as they crossed over each of the obstacles underneath this drywall sheet. So essentially the stud with the screws, the PVC pipe, the copper pipe, the stud without the screws, and the electrical line. And I did that for each one of them, and I tried to explain and narrate all of my actions. And honestly, in reviewing and editing this video, I realized that that is some really boring stuff. And it was going to make this video like an hour and a half long, even if I were to cut a lot of it, because there was some nuance. And after I watched my final review of all this, I realized that I did cover it pretty well in the recap. So I'm not going to show you all the different actions. And in the recap, you'll kind of hear some references into things I was doing that you won't get to see. But believe me, you're not really missing a whole lot. I wasn't really able to show all that well each one of these things because the zoom on the camera wasn't really, right on the device for you to see anything meaningful. So if I were to redo this video, I'd probably do it differently. But for now, I think that it's probably best to jump directly to the conclusions, which is probably why you're here.
All right, guys, the time has come to make a verdict and choose one of these products. I am very surprised by the outcome. I am shocked by the outcome. So let's start in the order that I did it, actually. Right? I did this guy last, and it was like this. Yeah. So we'll start with this guy, this zircon unit. It is surprisingly accurate. It's surprisingly accurate in finding the edges. It doesn't tell you where the center is, but it will find the edges for you, and you mark the center yourself, okay? And I think that is a pretty decent thing that it does. So you can mark the center yourself. That's not a big deal because most of these other guys, they're not very good at telling you where the center is. This unit is, but we won't get into that. The other ones are not. So if you're not going to be super accurate like this unit is on telling me where the center is, I would rather you just tell me where the edges are and I mark the center myself because I can measure. What I loved about this unit is it's the only unit that will tell you if the calibration has failed, meaning that you've tried to calibrate it on top of the stud and then you've moved it away. It will start beeping at you and telling you that the calibration has failed. That is a very important thing that I think all of these other guys kind of miss. This one doesn't miss it. This one does a good job of that, but it doesn't really need a calibration, okay? But we'll get into that in a second. The other thing that I like about this unit is its price. It is very well priced. It is the most compact unit of all the ones that I've got here, these two being massive. So for portability, I would choose this one again. It doesn't come with a case, so that's kind of a negative, but most of them don't. The back of it is a felt back or a, like a cloth or whatever you want to call this back, which is okay. I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing. I know what the purpose of it is, so it doesn't scratch the surfaces of what you got, but there's nylons and other things that could accomplish the same thing. It does have a deep scan mode, which I'm not a huge fan of that mode. I think the purpose of this product is to find the stud, and it does a very good job of doing that. It does not know when it's got metal or other items below, but it does find the stud. Anyway, so portability is very good. Quality is okay. I mean, not the greatest of these, but I would probably rank it number 3 from a build quality perspective. And accuracy is top notch. Ease of use, top notch. I love the fact that it has a button. It does have an ergonomic feel to it. So I like this product. We'll come back to my top recommendation, okay? But this is the Tavul unit. This is the one that Amazon puts up as the one that it wants you to buy. It makes no secret of that, okay? Now, I do like this unit. It actually is quite good. It's very accurate. It does tell you the edges and it tells you the center. That's a very good thing because it tells you the center and it beeps at the center. You can see that in the video. It does have all these different modes. I wasn't able to get all the other modes to really do much. The electrical detection mode didn't do anything. I wasn't drawing a ton of current, but it didn't do anything. But the thing that I felt like it failed on is if you calibrate it while you're on top of the stud, it just won't find anything and it won't give you an error. And I thought that was a missed opportunity that the Zircon did a really good job of. It's just as portable, if not a little less. The quality is the build quality is probably about the same as the Zircon. You can tell these are, I don't know. It says produced in China, designed in USA. This doesn't say any of that, but my guess is produced in China, designed in China. Anyway, so this is a good tool. Okay, as long as you calibrate it twice just to make sure you've got a good surface. And again, I'm just going after finding a stud. I'm not concerned with all these other functionalities like electrical and metal. Now, if they do a good job of it, great, bonus points. But they don't, then I'm not going to mark him down too much. This guy, great build quality. I really like the sliding surface. I like the fact that it has instructions at the bottom. I think it's maybe good for some of you that it has AA batteries and not 9-volt batteries. Who cares, really? Shouldn't have to change it that often. Ergonomically, it's pretty good. It is pretty massive, so if you want to carry it in your tool bag, you may not like that very much. But the big news here is it's difficult to find exactly where the center is to within a ½ inch, which I don't like. These two were really good at helping me find the center to within maybe a ½ inch, even an 1/8 of an inch. That's impressive. This, I think within a ½ inch, I would be able to nail it, which is probably still accurate enough to get enough support. But again, not great. But the bad news with this one, guys, is when I went over an electrical current, it recognized it as just exactly the same way as it does a regular stud. And for that reason, this product for me fails and I can't use it. It's too bad. I love the idea. Doesn't need to be calibrated. It's super quick. And I mean, I guess if you use these in an environment where there's no problem for electrical penetration or anything, and you're not worried about any of that, again, look, I want to be clear. These guys didn't tell me there was any electrical anything. But this one mistook electrical for a stud. That in my mind, I find that to be a little worse, okay? So I found something, but I wasn't able to tell me what it was. And then also, it went kind of haywire when I went over my copper wire. So anyway, take that for what it is. I can't recommend this product, okay? Here's the Bosch. This is the one I had the highest hopes for. It has the best build quality. It is impressively well made. And the LCD does a little goofy thing. I see it. Look at that. Like that little battery light comes on. Anyway, it's actually quite well made. It is really big, but it's the only one that comes with a case, and it's the only one that comes with a wrist strap, and it's the only one that came with its own battery. I think that's really great for what you're getting. It is, I believe, one of the higher priced ones. You have to check the links to see what the current prices are. But the bad news with this, guys, is it is surprisingly difficult to find the center with this. I was so disappointed. I really wanted to love this unit, and I can't get myself to recommend it because of just that one failure, which I think is a big failure on a part of a stud finder, right? You want the center of the stud, and it's surprisingly difficult to try to nail down where the center is, and you're always going to be somewhat ambiguous, and for that reason, I can't recommend it. What it did do, which these other ones did not, it actually did detect my copper pipe, and it showed it as something metallic underneath, and for me not to drill there. And I thought that was a very valuable thing. So it's too bad that it can't do its primary job well, because it did its secondary job quite well. And I hate the fact that I can't recommend it. So for me, guys, it comes down to the two cheaper ones, okay? The Tavul unit and the Zircon unit. And I have a hard time telling you which one's better, but the fact that this guy gives me a little error when I start out on a stud, and it was very consistent with that, and it helped me find the edges quite consistently, I am going to keep the Zircon, okay? You can choose whichever one of these you guys want. I am not getting sponsored by any of these, obviously, or paid or anything like that. I just wanted to find a good stud finder for myself, and money was no object to me. I would have kept any of these, and it turned out to be one of the cheaper ones that won it out for me, which is a extra bonus. No wonder this product is so highly rated on Amazon, and it's simply because it is the most user-friendly, quick to find edges. And again, this finds the edge, not the center, but it's a good product. You're not going to go wrong with this. I'm not telling you anything about longevity of these products. I don't know which one's going to break down first or anything like that. I've only had them for a few hours, and I've only tried them in my little lab that you saw me kind of put together in my workshop here. And anyway, I hope this helps you with your decision. Leave comments for me and tell me if I did something that I should redo, or you thought maybe my methodology was not correct, or if you have another one you want to recommend. I personally like using a strong magnet. When you use a strong magnet, you're able to find the screws quite easily. The only problem with a strong magnet is, unless you wrap it in some sort of cloth, you are gonna scratch up the paint on your wall quite badly. So these units are kind of nice. It's a good idea to use two methods. Okay, use a magnet and use one of these guys. Always use a lot of caution before drilling into the wall. And if you're doing anything that needs any sort of weight support, so not a picture frame, but if you're doing like handrails or something like that, it is crucial that you're a dead center on that stud and you got really great kind of penetration into it, because otherwise you're not going to be able to hold on much weight. So I hope this helped you. I would appreciate very much if you are going to buy one of these products, if you do it through the link in the description. And also, if you vote up this video or subscribe to my channel, I plan to do a lot of product reviews. I highly would appreciate it. And thank you for watching this and the other videos in this description that dig a little deeper into each individual one of these guys. So hope the video helped you, and have a wonderful day. Look forward to your comments.